Crossroads Podcast. For those who want to be in the know, who's your daddy?
Good morning, Crossroads, Texas. Welcome to Crossroads Podcast News and Announcements. I'm your host, Stephen Kilfoyle, bringing you important information that affects our community, our nation, and our conversations about law, order, and public safety. Today, we'll dive into some national headlines, specifically the recent ones during a federal investigation of ICE agents operating in Minnesota, and explore how different media outlets are covering it. We'll also talk about the importance of respecting law enforcement at all levels, whether it's city, county, state, as well as federal, and then bring it back home with some local news that you need to know. Let's get it started. Okay, over the last several weeks, Minneapolis has been the center of national debate surrounding federal immigration enforcement actions. What happened? 2 U.S. citizens were shot and killed during confrontations with federal immigration agents. One was Renee Good. It's a 37-year-old mother of three, and the other was Alex Pretty, a 37-year-old ICU nurse and U.S. citizen. Both shootings took place amid an intensive federal operation in Minneapolis known as Operation Metro Surge. Authorities say federal agents were conducting immigration enforcement, and during those operations, shots were fired, the results being these deaths. The death of Alex Pretty was recently ruled a homicide by a medical examiner, meaning that it was inflicted by another person. In this case, federal law enforcement officers. The medical examiner noted multiple gunshot wounds after guns were fired during the encounter. These events have led to ongoing civil rights investigations by the Department of Justice, and national attention is focused on accountability protocols and the use of force. One of the most striking aspects of the story is how differently it's been portrayed in various corners of the media. For example, our liberal media by Stephen Swanson, dated February 3rd, 2026, he stated, "Let's be clear, the killings of Renee Good and Alex Pretty could have been prevented, and they should both still be alive." Now, if you've seen video footage of the case with Renee, the lady, she clearly accelerated her vehicle forward towards the agent, the officer. The officer, according to the state laws of Minnesota, was in full right, considered himself life threatened, and acted accordingly. So it should be, according to the law, deemed a good kill. You don't go driving a car toward a police officer. You will get shot. I guarantee it. I know I come from a family of law enforcement officers. And believe me, you drive a car towards my father back when he was a policeman, he would have shot you. And justifiably. So The liberal media is putting a new twist on that, and they do this often. So they take graphic analysis, question official accounts of the shootings. They question about whether the subjects were unarmed or non-threatening. They have calls for accountability and stronger oversight in the federal law enforcement, and criticism of aggressive immigration enforcement tactics. Let's see. Biden, when he was in office as president, let them all come in illegal, and now we're having to clean up his mess. Sounds like the same old story. It's been going on for years. Democrats come in, screw things up. Republicans have to go in behind them and sweep up their mess. Just saying. I know I've been around since '64. I've seen a lot of both sides, so that's what it is. The conservative narratives, however, take a different twist on it. They repeat assertions that protesters were paid agitators and provocateurs, defend law enforcement actions and emphasize support for federal agents, argue that immigration enforcement is critical to national security and public safety. I concur with that. Warned against hasty conclusions in the absence of a full investigation. These different frames highlight how the same events can be interpreted through very different lenses in the media. Now, an article written by Rachel Wolf from Fox News states, video appearances appear to show Alex Preddy spitting at federal agents, violently damaging their SUV days before the fatal shooting. To top it all off, the guy had a license to carry a concealed weapon, and he chose to reveal it. When you pull a gun out on a policeman and he's told you to freeze or get out of the way, and you pull a gun out on him, you're going to get shot. Just saying. You know, it's really sad that it's come down to this. Preddy was clearly acting aggressively towards those ICE agents. Hands down, no doubt. No doubt. Regardless of where you stand on these issues, one point that I want to make clear today, and this is very, very important, is the importance of respecting law enforcement officers no matter their agency or their affiliation. And there's a little statement that I pulled off of one of the articles on the internet, and it says this: ICE is rewriting the rules of the street by arresting people directly inside the deportation protests. The usual script of chanting and going home is officially over. If you are in the country illegally, the administration is making it clear that a protest sign is not a shield or a safe space from the law. This shift in 2026 is designed to turn political theater into real consequences, especially as Operation Metro Surge hits its peak with over 3,000 federal agents now on the ground in Minneapolis alone. This move is a direct echo of the 1919-1920 Palmer raids. Back then, the government faced a wave of radicalism and decided to use immigration law to break it. They targeted entire organizations and arrested people at their meetings and rallies, eventually deporting over 500 radicals, including the infamous Russian woman Emma Goldman. The strategy then, as it is now, was to prove that citizenship is a contract. If you use your presence here to obstruct the law, the government can and will pull your seat at the table. It's a hard-nosed return to the idea that the law is not a suggestion. You have the right to speak, but if you are here unlawfully, you do not have the right to stay while you do it. And I think that's just wonderful. I hope they continue doing exactly just that. So we may have vigorous debates about policy, tactics, and oversight, as we should, but we should never, ever endorse interference with law enforcement while they are carrying out their duties. If you disagree with how something is being done, the appropriate response is through lawful channels, not obstructing officers in the field. As citizens, we can respect their authority, allow them to do their jobs safely, advocate for accountability and transparency through the courts, elected representatives, and community engagement. Every life matters, including law enforcement and the public they serve. And public safety depends on mutual respect and lawful conduct from all sides. All right, well, let's swing it back to what's happening here in Crossroads. Folks, we've got an amazing event coming down, put on and sponsored by our very own Crossroads Police Department. It's the Citizens Police Academy. The Crossroads Police Department is pleased to announce the return of its Citizens Police Academy in 2026. The program offers residents and local businesses, community members, a behind-the-scenes look at law enforcement operations and procedures. Classes are scheduled to begin on Wednesday, February 11th, and will run for 8 weeks. Sessions will be held every Wednesday from 6 to 8 at the Crossroads Police Department, located at 1401 Farm to Market Road 424 in Crossroads, Texas. Participants will gain valuable insight into the daily operations of the police department, including patrol procedures, the Texas Penal Code, traffic enforcement, and criminal investigation. The Academy is designed to strengthen understanding, transparency, and collaboration between the department and the community it serves. My wife and I are looking so forward to this. We've been excited about it. The last year when they had it, it ran at the same time that the Little Elm Fire Department's Citizens Fire Academy ran. So we had already enrolled in that. So we finally got into our police academy and we're excited. The program's open to Crossroad residents, business owners, and employees. A background investigation is required, and participants and applicants must not have a conviction for a Class B misdemeanor or higher. Applications are now being accepted online. Those interested in participating are encouraged to apply ASAP by visiting crossroads.tx.gov/CPA. Now, I'm excited. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to actually having one of the officers, or the chief probably, come on the podcast again after we wrap up the academy and give us his feedback of how he felt that the public perceived it in their participation, and what he's looking forward to doing so much more to help support our community here in Crossroads. I love our policemen and policewomen, and thank you so much for your service. It really, truly is appreciated. Now for another announcement, mark your calendars so guess what? There will be no town council meetings in the month of February. That's terrible. It's a short month. Poor thing. It gets neglected all the time. But mark that on your calendar. No council meeting. On the Aubrey side, the library programs are running smooth. The Aubrey Public Library's Reading Challenge began Wednesday, February 4th at 4:30 p.m. And the club is open to kids ages 9 through 13. This month's book is Cat and Cat Adventures, The Quest for Snacks by Susie Yee. The library's teen club met Thursday, February 5th at 4:30 p.m., and it is open to ages 14 through 18. And finally, a big shout out to TxDOT crews and all our first responders who helped keep us safe during this last week's deep freeze. Roads were hazardous, conditions unpredictable, and these teams worked tirelessly so we could stay safe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I couldn't even get out of my driveway. It froze over. I stepped out into the grass, and normally when you have weather like this, you hear a little crunch or a crack. No, it was a solid sheet of ice. And I told Maddie, I said, we're not going anywhere. I tried to get out of my driveway at one point when I thought we might have enough of a thaw that it would have allowed my car out. But no, I got my car stuck in the driveway. That was a field day. Thank goodness I'm married to an engineer and she figured out how to get it unstuck so we could pull it back into the garage. So Texas roads are a part of daily lives. They connect our communities and our livelihoods and bring us all back home. But every day, an average of 12 lives are lost in crashes on these same roads caused by risky choices like speeding and distracted driving. As Texans, we look out for one another, especially on the roads we share. Drive like a Texan. TxDOT's newest safety initiative is about upholding the famous Texas values we take pride in, treating every person with kindness, courtesy, and respect. It's about the small, simple actions and safe habits that keep you safe and save lives. By driving like a Texan, inspiring others to do the same, we can all do our part to care for one another on the road. For details on the status of various road projects through the town of Crossroads, just visit crossroadstx.gov/road-projects. If you want to keep Crossroads community looking clean, adopt a road. Apply at crossroadstx.gov/adopt. And adopt a little road. Keep our city pretty and sparkling. Definitely. Well, that wraps up this episode of Crossroads Podcast News and Announcements. Hopefully next time we get together, I'll have my co-host Maddie with me, and we'll have some fun and bantering back and forth. Whether it's a national headline or a hometown happening, we'll always bring you information that matters, delivered with clarity and respect for our community. Today's episode is sponsored by author Stefan McDermott, who wrote this book, Achieve Optimal Brain Health with Nutrition. You can get your copy on Amazon.com. This book is an easy-to-follow holistic guide to help boost memory, mental clarity, and cognitive function with recipes and examples anyone can use daily. Amazon.com, Achieve Optimal Brain Health with Nutrition by Stefan McDermott. If you want to be on the Crossroads podcast as a guest, reach out to us at crossroadspodcast2023@gmail.com. Tell us a little about yourself and why you would like to be on the show, and we'll make it happen. As a rule, we love people and we love sharing with them. Remember, stay informed, stay engaged, stay respectful. Until next time, I'm Stephen Kilfoyle. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you at the top. Goodbye.
Crossroads Podcast. Who's your daddy?